I'm not sure if I'm the only one that has a family genealogy or family ancestry scrapbook, but I wanted to show y'all mine. So I've been collecting a lot of this stuff for the last 10 years. And within the last year, I decided to put it in some type of binder and actually organize it. Before I show y'all the inside of the book, I wanted to show you some of the things I think that should be in your book. So in my book, let's start here. I have a picture of a death record of she was my second great grandmother named Carrie Jordan. Her husband, Burke Jordan, I have a copy of his registration card. So back in the day, they used to do like registration draft cards where the men had to pretty much register for the draft just in case if they had to be pulled into the war or pulled into the military. They were second cousins, and they were also husband and wife. Don't judge us. I have a picture of Burke. This is Burke. This is his registration card. This is his father. His name was Nicholas. He was born 1842. He died in 1901. He was born a slave and pretty much was in slavery for the first, 20 plus years of his life. I have a picture of Letitia Bird, which is this woman. This document belongs to Carrie. This is her mother, Letitia Bird Jordan. And then I have a picture of Burke. So this is Nick, and this is his son, Burke. And on the porch was Burke's first grandchild. Her name was Pearl. She was my great-grandmother's first cousin. Then I have another popular document to have in your collection, which is, I think it's another draft card. It just was in yellow, but it has more details on this one. So this is some of the things I have within my book. I also have a picture of the man who owned my family. He was a slave owner. His name was Fred Jordan. So what's funny is Fred had a black son. He was a biracial black man named Nick. And then this is Bert. So granddad, dad, son. This is a picture of Burke's brother, Uncle Tommy. So this is Burke. This is his brother Tommy. He was a Mason in Chicago at a Monarch 99. This is at a St. John's Day. Anybody who is in the Masonic family know that St. John's Day is a really big deal within Masonry. This is Reverend Keller, who was the pastor of Beth Eden Church. And Beth Eden was the family church that we attended when we left the South to go to Chicago. This is a picture of Burke and his wife, Carrie. And this is in a family booklet we did within a reunion in 2005. So this is the front of my book. And then this is the back of my book, and this is another document from the reunion in 2005. And then I also have pictures of Burke's brothers, Tommy. That's Tommy to the left. And then this is Henry. So Tommy and Henry. And this is Tommy when he was older. So they was Masons. They were both past masters at a lodge in Chicago called Monarch 99. And then this is my grandmother up top, my great-grandmother Gladys, and my great-grandmother's sister Mildred. So this was Gladys. These are her parents. So now I showed you what some of the things that's in my book. Let's actually open the book up. So in your family history book, if you're trying to create a book, you can have obituaries, you can have mementos and different things from past reunions. I included my, what do you call that? My results for the African ancestry test I took. I wanted to include that. I thought that was really important. I included the family tree. So my family was started in 1830 by this woman named Kizzy. And she had several descendants. 6 of them had children. I derived from Nicholas, which is him. And I also derived from Henry B. So that's who I come in. So Henry B had a son named Oliver, who is this woman's father. And then Nicholas had a son named Burke, that's Burke. So if you have a family tree, include that. Matter of fact, in 2025, we're doing a reunion to unite all the descendants of this woman for the very first time. It's something I'm spearheading. It's going to be the National Jordan Reunion, Descendants of Kizzy Jordan. It's going to be historic. So if you are collecting family history and you have a family scrapbook, definitely include the tree. And then this is another miniature family tree, and it has my grandmother, Evelyn, her mother Gladys, Carrie, and Burke, the couple I just spoke to y'all about, Nick, which is Nick up there, Letitia, and that's Letitia right there. So the pedigree chart, which is what this is called, is really important because it has the breakdowns of when they were born, when they passed away. And then this is another pedigree chart. My grandmother, great-grandmother, and then so on and so forth. This is a Freeman's Bureau document. I'm not going to open it up because it's very lengthy. But this is a document of the individuals in my family who decided to stay on this man's plantation, which is the Soon-Lovey plantation that was in Pachuta, Mississippi back in 1865. So when slavery ended, my family decided to stay. And they worked pretty much as sharecroppers for this gentleman, Fred Jordan, until they were able to buy their own land and do their own thing. And so on that land was a church that we started called Mount Jordan. So this is a document of all the pioneers who come from Kizzy, which was the one that started my family. And so I put together pretty much like all the names and how they connect to Kizzy. This is another document that also says early pioneers. And then this was a flyer from a recent revival. So every year in the South, different churches have annual revivals, which is another term for, they also say homecoming. And so this is a flyer I created to bring attention to the annual Mount Jordan revival and to try to get as many relatives to come out and support. And it was a packed house, so we packed it out for sure. And there's other documents. So again, in your family scrapbook, you can include family reunion booklets. Like this is a booklet from 1995. I was barely just born. And this is other reunion booklets. This is the one from 2005. This is the very first reunion I attended. And this is one from 1996. So you see it says Henry in Georgia. And Henry, I think I just showed you. And then this is Henry. So this Henry here is the Henry here. So, and then this was my uncle. So Bert, that's Bert. This was his other brother, Henry. So you got Tommy and you got Henry. And this is a news clipping back in 1950 in the Chicago Tribune. I kept that. And then this is the original photograph that my grandmother gave me of my Uncle Henry. And this is him. This is his picture in the lodge. And then here's other photographs that I collected and I keep. And then the back of this, Burke, who's sitting there, was also a reverend. And this is his minister license from 1912. So, again, if you're going to do a family scrapbook, I advise that you put pictures, documents, and something else I'm going to do that my wife suggested was putting title pages. So that way, 100 years from now, if my great-great-great-great-grandchildren get a hold of this book, they'll know what they're looking at, and they'll know how that connects up to them. So hopefully you enjoyed this presentation, and if you enjoy genealogy and ancestry like I do, I know you will. And if you are not into it, I strongly encourage you, especially if you're Black, to start knowing your history. We talk about knowledge of self. Well, knowledge of self starts here. You can talk about Malcolm X, Dr. King, Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman. You talk about them all day long. But if you don't know the history of your own personal Black lineage, all the other stuff is in vain. So knowledge of self starts with knowing where you come from. Who are you? Did y'all own farmland? Did y'all do different things? This man right here owned 122 acres of land that he left to his son. And that land was in our family to 1990. So from 1900, he got that land, and it stayed in the family to 1990. So again, that made me want to say, man, I want to go own land now. I want to get some property in the South. So when you know your history, man, it inspires you, it encourages you. And I feel like they worked so hard to strip our connection to our history. We owe it to all these people, our ancestors. We owe it to our ancestors to reclaim that history. So we can talk about all day long what they stole, but what are you going to go back and get? So family ancestry and genealogy is a direct, I guess you can say, fruit of liberation work. If you're trying to liberate Black people and inspire Black people, it starts here. It starts with knowing your history, knowing where you come from, knowing your foundation. And then you take that foundation, you study that foundation, and you build off it, and you leave this. This is generational wealth. Wealth is not just money. Wealth is also history. So